Hi. Welcome to the first episode of a new podcast that I'm going to start called The Valley of Death. So, this is a tough one to start because, surprise, I'm in the Valley of Death right now as we speak. I've been running a business for a long time. And I can't say this is the first time I've been through the Valley of Death, so there's a little bit of reassurance there. I feel like, at this stage, probably I know some of what needs to get done to work my way through this point, but at the same time, it's still scary. It still sucks. I don't want to do this. But this is kind of what you sign up for, I think, when you sign up to start a business, especially something I think that's pushing the boundaries of anything that you've done in the past. And so I guess maybe to get things started with this, let me just do a basic accounting of where things are at right now. Excuse me. Yeah, so I did not get paid this month. And I'm not the only person in the company that did not get paid this month. And so that's really that's a wake-up call that what you've been doing hasn't been working and that you've got to change your strategies around everything. What else? This morning, I had to let people go. And that's one of the worst feelings in the world, as much as when you're starting a business. I think one of the things that I really enjoy, and I think a lot of other entrepreneurs enjoy, is that feeling that you're taking care of others as well. Kind of enjoy that sense of responsibility. I don't know if it's something that's aligned with being a dad, but I've always been somebody who I do more, I work harder, I dig deeper when I know other people are counting on me. And so So if I have to let them go, I feel it hurts because I know I've disappointed them, and I'm really disappointed in myself too. Because I'm the kind of person who will always look kind of analytically at a situation and say, like, here's what you could have done better. Here's the decisions you should have made. And that's what drives me to continue to perform in what I do and to continue to push boundaries. But it's also the thing that causes a lot of sleepless nights about all of it. It's like second, third, fourth guessing yourself. But the thing that hasn't really changed in all of it is that underneath with what we're doing with Make Startups, I really believe in it. I guess I'm fanatical. I think that we can really do the things that we say, and when we have the customers that are working with us, you can see that Co-Founder OS really does improve process for them. It improves education of entrepreneurs. It improves tracking. It helps them become aligned with the people they're supporting in a way that's not really possible without the software, because there's this sort of adversarial barrier that so many mentors have to overcome with their mentee, because the mentee has a very hard time taking criticism about what's working or not working relative to their business. And there's such a tendency to take that personally. And I think that's one of the things that our software does most beautifully, is that it helps frame criticism as objective instead of subjective, and it turns the mentor-mentee relationship into something that feels more collaborative towards the success of a founder. And that, I suppose, can happen. But when you mentor, and like I've helped thousands of founders get started at this point, the level of empathy that you have to have with each founder in that situation it's hard to replicate at scale, right? And you can do an amazing job one-on-one with somebody if you really take the time to get to know who they are and what drives them and what motivates them. But in entrepreneur support, we are just like, we're giving everything, like literally everything, to help these founders succeed. And most of the time, we're struggling to succeed as well. It's very few support organization founders that I know that are comfortably making a living supporting founders, right? So they almost all have some other type of side hustle, essentially. And they mentor founders because they believe so deeply in it. And what happens is they get so caught up in mentoring these founders that becomes their primary business, the primary activity every day. And it makes it really difficult for them to support themselves in their own business, because it's like, I think they get, and maybe I'll speak for myself, I got into entrepreneur support thinking that this was something that I was going to do in my spare time, that it was the sort of give back to the community while I ran an architecture firm. And that's not how it's gone at all, because I barely have any time left anymore to design buildings for people, even though like I'm crazy good at it. And so anyway, like bringing it back to this valley of death that we're in, it's been almost 2 years. I want to say March. This is 2024, so March of 2023, and it's now December 2nd, 2024. March of 23, Eric Harrison, Grace Belangia, and I decided that we were going to build a software called, well, we didn't know the name at the time, but it ended up being Co-Founder OS. It started as a basic pitch evaluation app that allowed us to score somebody's pitch and give them feedback on it so that they could keep improving it. We launched sort of alpha version of that pitch app on April 20th of 2023. Had a lot of good interaction with founders playing with it. And we decided at that point that we wanted to build out a broader set of evaluation criteria to go through the entire course of how an entrepreneur support organization supports a founder. So basically, how do you go through that whole lean startup process, customer discovery, all the way through your customer acquisition and retention strategy, down to financial forecasting, and then really the big thing is like how do you fundamentally track KPIs for founders so that you can have your economic impact, and for all the grant reports that you have to do, that every bit of data is at your fingertips instead of relying on surveys and all the other bullshit that nobody responds to. You're lucky to get a 5% response rate. And so we launched the beta of that over the summer. We taught our first cohort using it. The tool went really well. The founders seemed to vibe with it. They iterated, they improved. We thought it was a good tool in the classroom. And so while we were teaching that class, we refined the product so that end of October of 2023, we were able to launch the tool, Co-Founder OS, publicly at the Startup Champions Network Summit in Phoenix. We got tons of cereal boxes made that said Co-Founder O's. It was a lot of fun. And then we launched the product, and we had this idea that we were going to bring in 20 support organizations over the next 3 months into the software package. Our core thesis underneath all of this was that every support organization results in 50 founders. And so, therefore, that gets us, right up to the 1,000 founders using the software mark relatively quickly. Basically, we think an ESO serves about 50 founders a year on average. And so that would make our company not like totally sustainable, but at least provide a trend line so that, we might be able to go out and raise some venture capital based on that traction, and then begin to scale out the product and, build the pieces of it that are both financial institution facing and founder facing. And anyway, that did not go as planned. To date, we're still struggling to get the support organizations onboarded onto the platform. We've continued to invest in the product, refine the product. We've learned a lot more about, sort of maybe a competitive landscape that we didn't think existed. And to be honest, we still don't think it's a competitive environment as opposed to a more collaborative environment, because we see a host of place-based entrepreneur development software tools that each focus on a different approach and even doing fundamentally different things, where I think ours best fits into the landscape is as a program management tool. It's not so much designed as the mapping tool of an ecosystem or the CRM of an ecosystem, although it has components within it that do those types of things. Ultimately, it's the best tool for teaching entrepreneurs and standardizing the data tracking methodologies underneath it. And we've had some wins, right? So we got to partner with Venture Atlanta. behind the scenes, we evaluated a lot, well, basically all of the applications for the Venture Atlanta competition. We were able to get some feedback from the Venture Atlanta selection committee so that we could refine what we do, and basically make the product better so that we can build out a tool specifically for managing pitch contests, and so that tool's now available and embedded into the product. We've onboarded a couple of different small-scale financial institutions that are testing, ways of using the software to pre-qualify loans, and we've onboarded a couple of larger incubators, and so forth. So we have things absolutely happening, but at the end of the day, the cost of running a business very much outweighs the revenue that this business is bringing in. And that brings me back to, not getting paid. It sucks. And so I wanted to start this podcast as a place where it's kind of like I'm exhausted by the posturing that's involved in startups. I'm exhausted by this feeling like we have to compete with other things out in the marketplace, because I don't think that I don't believe actually underneath it all in the concept of competition. I think that competition is something that is the byproduct of believing in scarcity. And I don't think that we're the one tool to rule them all, but I think that we make an amazing tool. And I wanted to have a podcast where we invite people into the vulnerability of the valley of death. I think that, the core of everything I've been trying to do is to make it easier for people to build startups. I believe that startups are the fundamental answer to a lot of the challenges that we face as a society. And I'll probably dive into more of that in some other episodes of this. But if we can't talk about the real challenges and study the pathways of getting through them, then we're never going to be able to build a system that has those lessons baked in so that more people can navigate their own valley of death successfully. So yeah, welcome to the Valley of Death. I am going to shoot for doing this as a daily confessional or interview, or who knows, honestly, what the hell. But yeah, I got to go let some more people go. I'm going to set my month one goal that I would really like to pay myself at the end of this month, because I can't navigate the valley of death, and I can't help my company navigate the valley of death if I don't make it myself. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.